Boom, we're here. Hey, everybody. Thank you for hopping over from Brian's great show. I'm a little disheveled this morning. I'm just getting together here. Um, let's see. What's going on, Zach? Zach, I was thinking about you. I'm going to tell you why in a few minutes. I know you're in the background. Trev, main event. How are you, sir? Yeah, main event. I got to tell you, I'm in New Jersey. We got no need for DiGiorno here. We have more pizza places. I think my wife is to my right. Just so you know, I'm not speaking to myself. She's a little camera shy, but yeah, I think New Jersey is number one in the country for pizza places. It could be. Hey, J80. This is my second coffee, by the way, of the day. So today's gonna get nuts, like Bruce Wayne. I missed a lot of breakfast with Brian today, and I'll show you why. And this is why I've also had a second coffee today. I'm going to put this on my Instagram shortly, but I had to meet someone who shall remain nameless to pick this up. This is the Isolation #1 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And I'll tell you this. I've never been to San Diego. The closest I've ever been to San Diego is I think playing. No, not playing. I'm sorry. I was in the audience in the Carmen Sandiego game show when I was in 8th grade. And I'm sure that you all are happy that you know that now. Did you ever play that game, honey?
What?
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? They had Where in Time. Here's the thing. Do you know where Carmen Sandiego was most of the time?
No.
Right here. In our hearts. And by the way, you could tell you've been thinking about comics too much. Let me borrow this for just a second, honey. So here's a lesson too. Advice, I guess you could say. Whenever you're going to be running out to get comics on a Saturday morning, and I've done this for both of the Bratton's comic book garage sales, and then I did it today for a mystery meetup. Come back home, bring gifts. Usually, I will bring my wife flowers and chocolate if I'm going to Trader Joe's first thing. I didn't go to Trader Joe's though, but after meeting with the mysterious person that got me the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, I ran to Church Street Bagels. Shout out Church Street, not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored. I got myself a nice espresso. We got a couple bagels. And this is my wife's favorite. She just finished it. It's called a Mango Van Cream. Yes, I'm just showing an empty plastic cup. And I know that I've been talking about comics too much because I asked for a Mango Van Lente, like the artist Frank Van Lente. And the poor girl behind the counter was like, what? It's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. It's Van Cream. All right, do me a favor. Text Sam. Just send this. Band name, Too Much Coffee. I have a running gag going. My friend Sam and I, we've done this for maybe like 15 years, possibly more. We used to go out to a lot of bars and pretend that we were in fake bands. So every so often I'll just hear a phrase and I'll just call or text my friend Sam, here's a good band name. So we're keeping it going. And I know that Sam is not watching. He has a very young baby as well, and I think he's actually working. So yeah, that's another one. So let me jump into it here. I've been babbling enough, but we've got a lot more babbling to do. I'm joined here with my wife, who's going to step out of the room shortly for some stuff. You could hang around if you want. It's up to you, honey. I told you I'd love to have you on camera. By the way, I asked my wife, I hardly ever do this. I said, honey, there's a book you will really, really like. This one, The New Think, issue 1. I talked about this, if not last week, then the week before. I don't even remember at this point. And the overarching theme of it, I didn't tell her this, but I'm going to tell her now because maybe she'll actually read it, is technology affecting human evolution, which Mike Diodato which is probably not how you say his name, I think does great on this cover here, kind of like the steps of evolution. So yeah, I think you'd enjoy this, honey. Did you read it yet?
No.
Not yet. But let's see. In front of everybody, will you read it for next week, maybe?
Maybe.
So we got a maybe. Maybe's usually no, but we'll try. So the news topic. Should I do the news topic, the new pickups, or the reviews first, honey? What do you think? Yeah, 'cause you know what? And I say this because a lot of the new pickups and reviews are pretty much intertwined because I was out of new things to read. So the main news topic I had for this, and I have to apologize, I put that this is episode 20. I think we're actually on 21. I'm going to ask my wife to start taking count because she's very organized and I am not. So she could keep track of that. So the news topic, can or how can the DCU, yes, it does sound like a commitment. Main event says you have to read this for next week, and you have to, honey. He's a good guy. She's nodding and smiling, which means I'm in trouble.
No, I'm not.
I'm joking. Yeah, so how the DCU can breeze past the MCU. Now, I'm saying this again, not having seen Thor yet. I've said it before. We're not going to a movie theater. Just not right now. That's just not where we're comfortable. Right now, we got the little guy who was scheduled to be on the show, but he decided instead to take a nap, like he's an infant or something. He's 5 whole months old now. Come on, get with the picture, kid. Anyway, yeah, so I haven't seen Thor. From what I've been reading, people either love it or they hate it. And if you have seen it, no spoilers in the chat, but just give us, did you like it? Didn't you like it? Thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever. I could tell you based on the other MCU films that have come out, the Phase 4 films, I've said this before again, I didn't care for Black Widow. Eternals I liked. Doctor Strange I liked. Spider-Man I liked. Are we missing anything? And I'm not talking necessarily about the shows, but I enjoyed the shows. Main event, loved Thor, Love and Thunder. So I'm waiting for Disney Plus. I'm excited to see that, and I think that should be coming when, I guess mid-August. I don't know. Did they put out a date for it? All things I probably should have looked up before I started streaming this morning. But August is going to be a busy month for comic book lovers and streaming. Based on what I'm seeing, there's a fair amount of people. I was surprised I liked Thor. I lowered my expectations going in because of the reviews. I didn't like Multiverse of Madness at all. Here we go, Trev. Now, my wife's favorite Marvel film to date has been the first Doctor Strange. Am I right, honey?
Yeah.
What did you think of Multiverse of Madness? No spoilers.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't as good as the first, I thought.
Okay, so she said, I don't know if you could hear her because my mic is facing me and she's over there. She said it wasn't bad, but she preferred the first one. Was it better or worse, in your opinion, than Eternals?
It was better, I would think.
Better than Eternals? Okay.
Yeah.
Was it better or worse than Black Widow?
It was better.
Better, okay. Better or worse than Infinity War?
No, I liked Infinity War better.
Okay. I'm just trying to get a idea of where it falls in there for you. I don't know. So she liked it. That's the point. I tend to think a lot of the negative press that we've been hearing, and I actually just read something this morning that people are saying, oh, is this the beginning of the end for superhero movies because they're not performing as well? And they focus solely on Marvel movies, and the picture has Natalie Portman in it. I do think a fair amount of this criticism is kind of just Warner Brothers doing a little bit of marketing. As I've said before, a lot of the criticisms I see come from either Warner Brothers products, like I've talked about before. What's the comedy that we like watching on HBO? Hacks. There was a little scene in the first season where they're like, nobody likes those Marvel movies, not superhero movies, because HBO is owned by Warner Brothers, who owns DC, of course, they didn't say nobody wants to see Batman, nobody wants to see comic book movies. They said nobody wants to see Marvel movies. I noticed a lot of the actors coming out and saying, "Oh, I would never do a superhero film or a Marvel film," or either are mostly people who have had actors and directors who have had projects with Warner Brothers. The kid, something Chalmette, I can't think of his name. He was one of the main actors in Dune. I think he was the main guy, actually, which I enjoyed. He didn't sing. Said I would never be in a superhero movie. Elizabeth Banks, who got her start in Spider-Man, was in the first Sam Raimi trilogy. She was Betty Brant. She had Charlie's Angels come out, and when that tanked, the most recent Charlie's Angels. Hey, Kenneth. Yeah, she was like, well, people will go and see 12 Spider-Man movies, but not another strong female-led movie. And I could go on. I've gone on about this topic before. But DC has been making, I think, a lot of interesting moves, mainly because they've kind of been forced to. Let's face it, Aquaman 2, there was nothing really at Comic-Con, at least from what I saw last week, because they're avoiding the Amber Heard controversy. Same thing with The Flash. Ezra Miller's gone off the deep end, honey. And these are two gigantic tentpole movies with millions of dollars invested. I mean, we're talking Mega Millions. These are your 2 Mega Million tickets for Warner Brothers, and they couldn't promote it at San Diego Comic-Con. And look, I'll be honest with you. I don't know. Can they keep it together just with Black Adam and with Shazam? I enjoyed the first Shazam film. I don't know that it's necessarily the giant, let's hold up the entire DCU with that. But I don't know. Main event, WB needs to get writers who care about the characters. This is what I'm getting to. So Marvel did mess up in the past. You remember there was that little span of time where Marvel let James Gunn go. And what did James Gunn do? He went and he made the second Suicide Squad film, which the majority of us, not my wife, enjoyed over the first one. She likes the first one. I don't know. I thought it was a Ghostbusters ripoff.
No, I like the first one.
And then the Peacemaker series, which was great. Let's face it. Peacemaker did, over the span of 8 or 10 episodes, what Deadpool 2 tried to do in 2.5 hours. They tried to take this goofy character and flesh it out into an interesting story, really, at the end of the day, about family. So they've already had, I have no interest in Black Adam. Shazam 2, I will say. Yeah, here's the thing, main event. I like the character Black Adam from what I've read in the comics, and I don't go deep with DC Comics at all. I really didn't get into them too much until Identity Crisis, and my first real introduction into Black Adam was the Countdown spin-off World War III, and that's when I understood, okay, this is a cool character. And honestly, he's basically Namor with Superman's powers. That's the way I kind of see him, at least in my opinion. But given the release schedule, let's face it, you don't release good films in the middle of October. And they're putting a lot of eggs into this basket, as far as characters and whatnot goes. I don't know if it's, hey, nobody's going to be looking for movies at this time, because it is a crowded superhero schedule. Let's face it. Anyway, as I was saying, they had some leeway getting James Gunn as directing Suicide Squad and then Peacemaker, and now he's signed up for a bunch of other DC projects, from what I understand. Matt Woods, everybody. Yep, I'm starting it too. I think at this point now, too, that you saw that there was the announcement last week that Marvel, in 3 or 4 years, I forgot what, is building up to Avengers Secret Wars. And the Russo brothers, who did the second and third Captain America films, which were very good, yes, Winter Soldier, Civil War, did Infinity War, an Endgame. Out of that Endgame, I have to say, was probably my least favorite. It was good, but not as good as the others, just my opinion. The Russo brothers have said, hey, we want to do Secret Wars. And Kevin Feige said no. You know, I got to feel like maybe the Russos are a little disappointed. You know, in case you don't know, the gentleman who directed Shang-Chi, and I'm fancy, you could tell because I say Shang and not Shang, Shang-Chi. Too much coffee, people. Matt Woods. Yeah, he's going to be directing Secret Wars. So let me tell you right now, if I'm in DC, I'm reaching out to the Russo brothers and saying, hey, so we kind of have our own little universe that's in a little bit of a turmoil right now. You know, they've got Gal Gadot's contract potentially expiring. She probably won't sign on for more. She's getting older in, what do you call it, in Hollywood sense. Jason Momoa's contract, I imagine, has got to be going to a close. Henry Cavill may or may not be there. To be honest with you, Ben Affleck is the only one it seems like he can't escape the WB. I don't know, did you notice he's going to be in Aquaman, apparently?
Yeah, I can't see that.
Batfleck. Here's the thing with Ben Affleck. I don't think we got to see the potential of his Batman.
He wasn't bad as Batman.
But here's the thing, we really don't know. I mean, Superman versus Batman, come on.
Yeah.
And then Justice League, even the Snyder Cut, I wasn't like sold on Ben Affleck as Batman. But anyway, look, if I'm Warner Brothers, I'm going in and saying, hey, look, we've got all these pieces scattered all over the place. We want to transition into a new universe because, you know, we got a couple bad actors, or bad apples, I should say. I don't mean bad actors as in bad performances. What can we do here? I say, look, hire the Russo brothers. Do your own, what was the name of the DC crossover? I'm blanking now. Oh, my God. Well, anyway, do your own Crisis. There you go. Do your own Crisis film or something. They have all of the pieces there in place. They just need the talent, and then they need to know where they're going next. I think that's what's kind of frustrating is because they're in this big transition phase now where Warner Brothers Discovery is just going into place with a new CEO and everything. 2 CEOs, actually. Did you know one of them, by the way? I think I told you, is from Florham Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to school with her younger brother. I think Pam knows her, actually, my sister. Yeah, I mean, look, they're starting as a brand new company. I think it's now time to say, okay, let's get a little aggressive. Hire the Russos. Get a direction going and go from there, because as good as their HBO Max stuff has been, and it's been pretty good, you know, it doesn't take too much to mess up. I mean, look, we haven't heard anything else about Green Lantern lately. You know, we're hearing bits and pieces about other HBO Max projects. I think Penguin starts filming soon. But anyway, they're at a good spot now where they can seriously jump in and overtake Marvel. Now, Marvel does have surprises up their sleeves, as we've heard. And yeah, you know, they did put out a huge release schedule. But remember this, Marvel's also been known to change their schedule. I mean, remember, we were supposed to have a Inhumans film, what, about a year or two ago? And that went by the wayside because of that terrible TV series. That was really bad. Remember? Mm-hmm. I think, did we even finish the first episode?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't know. That's my point. That was my news topic for today. Tell me what you guys think, of course. I'm going to start going into, I'm just going to mix the new acquisitions and reviews today because, like I said, they're both in the same. Now, I did get Isolation. I showed off the San Diego cover, which I just picked up this morning, and I'm just bragging about a little bit right now. I do, of course, have the standard cover, as well as the Patreon exclusive. I think I have pretty much the whole alphabet, but I don't have them all yet, so I'm not showing them off yet. And I'm not going to actually talk about this because we have an idea. I have an idea. It's okay, Trev. Oh, here, wait. Zach's got a good question. Why is everybody talking about Turok #1 lately? Why do you think that is the case, honey?
No idea.
You know what? This is what Zach, let's start this rumor right now. Everybody that's here, there's not a whole lot of people here. It's the summer. It's a beautiful day. I understand. Maybe they're watching on replay, and that's perfectly fine. If you are watching the replay, you could play along too. Let's start the rumor. I'm going to say not HBO because they're I feel like with streaming, not like when you get out of your Netflix or your Prime, HBO is like the one everybody looks for. Let's say either Paramount or Paramount will say. I feel like nobody gives them a lot of attention because they haven't been very good. Let's all start the rumor. James Gunn is doing a Turok series for Paramount. Let's start it right here. It's decided. Turok was a terrible comic. Great N64 game, but a terrible comic. My wife was unfamiliar. I had to catch her up to speed. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to put out a video about isolation soon. We have a good idea. My wife's going to help me with it. So new acquisitions and reads. I'm going to start with one that surprised me. Deadpool Bad Blood issues 2 and issues 3. Forgot it's backwards here. Zach, I think maybe Turok is just following you. So it's no secret if you go back into my videos, I really didn't care for the first issue. There were a lot of simple mistakes in here. And look, there's a lot of art mistakes in here too. A lot of the same with reappearing and disappearing weapons. And here he's got a sword and then it's not there. Where did he put it? I will say this, Liefeld has gotten better drawing feet. I guess he got tired of people complaining about it. There is one scene where it looks like Deadpool might be wearing a pair of Ugg boots instead of his regular shoes. It might be Deadpool. I mean, it might be Kane, actually, who's the villain in this. But there are some other things, too. Like Cable makes the same face when he's screaming and when he gets hurt. Like it didn't even look like he redrew it. It looked like he copied and pasted it. That being said, and I'm going to say that this is the co-plotter, the co-writer of Sim's work. The story is actually pretty good. It went from really 90s kitschy to still 90s kitschy, but they did something interesting in here. And I'm not giving away spoilers because you pretty much see it coming in the second one, but one of the people who you think is a villain is actually somebody from Deadpool's past. And it's interesting how they kind of tied it in. And again, Kane is the main villain of the series. He's an easy villain. Kane is a character I didn't even like when they tried to introduce him just as like Cable Jr. back in the day. Actually, fun fact, I had read that initially in the first Deadpool film, Francis was not supposed to be the villain. It was supposed to be Kane. But their worry was that they didn't have the budget to make the CGI necessary for his arms and for his little power set and whatnot. But yeah, as I said, I'm surprised how good it was. The next one is not a Marvel book. This is from Legacy Comics, which I've talked about a lot lately. Renfield, Visions of Madness, #0. This is drawn by Steve Conjay. Great art, by the way. And it is, from what I understand, the only Dracula adaptation that's been kind of, I don't know, certified, blessed by the Bram Stoker estate. The story itself is very good. It is a great cover. It kind of reminds me of, I wish Neil were here, because it kind of reminds me of like a Castlevania cover. Renfield, if you're not familiar, is kind of Dracula's familiar, like his assistant, his voluntary slave. It's a great book. I love the art. It's a good portion of a story. I only say that because it's only like 8 pages long. The best way I could say it is it's kind of like Tapas. You know, it's good, but it's very short. I would love to read more. I don't know if there's any plans to put out additional chapters or whatnot, but yeah, Renfield was a good read. And I do have more from Legacy Comics on the way. Pretty much everything else here is from Marvel. Again, this is a mix between new editions and things I read. I guess you could say these are the things I read out of the new editions, and then I'll show you what I didn't read yet. So as I've said in the past, I'm collecting all of the Hellfire Gala variants. Hey, Brian. I'm collecting all of the Hellfire Gala variants. Brian, before I forget, I may have voted twice this morning because I saw an email from you. So if I did, and it was very early in the morning, so if I did, you could just disregard that one, I guess. I'm sorry to give you more work on that. But yeah, I'm collecting all the Hellfire Gala variants. That even involves some stories or some series that I haven't been collecting, but that's kind of good. It gives you a good kind of sampling. And I have some coming from Unknown Comics, by the way, and I think they call them Unknown Comics because you don't really know when they're going to ship. So unknown because it may come next week, it may come 3 weeks from now, but I digress. So this was Legion of X3. This was the Havoc Hellfire Gala cover. Um, as far as gala costumes go, by the way, this isn't going to be a fashion show. I might be having a video about that. Um, you know, it's fine, but it doesn't really look like it's gala material. Like this looks like a uniform Havoc would wear. It kind of looks like his '90s uniform. He's just missing the weird headpiece. As far as the story goes, I purposely skipped on Legion of X. Cy Spurrier was writing it, and he's focusing more on some of the religious and metaphysical aspects of Krakoa, I guess. I have not read the gala issue yet in that main event. That's either going to be read today or tomorrow. Um, it's okay. He tends to get Cy Spurrier tends to get a little too out there for me. I really didn't care for Way of X, which was kind of the prelude to this series. I will say this: I really like the inclusion of Juggernaut in here. I like Juggernaut as a character, and I like that they've brought him back to a hero status. I thought he worked well in Excalibur. I did like the story. You're going back maybe 10 years or so now, where he actually kind of fell out of favor with Sidorak. But yeah, I mean, it's just okay. I'm not going to read the series physically. I'll probably read it digitally. I'm trying to think. I don't even really know if anything big happened in that particular issue. But it's definitely a different pace for the X-Men stories. And as I've said, I think the way the X-Men stories are working now, you have two tentpole series, which I'm going to go into in just a few moments. And you have some of them going into one and some of them going to another. And I think that they're going to lead up into a big civil war between Krakoa and I forgot what the Arako, the Mars Krakoa. Let's see, Zach. Was that when they gave the ruby to Colossus? Yes. And then he lost it because of the Phoenix power from Avengers versus X-Men. Next, X-Force number 29. Good cover. You've got Forge here. And you can see he's kind of integrated Krakoa with his F-Tire. I think this is a Miguel Mercado cover. It's nicely done. I like the addition of the wine there. The story itself, I have to say, this is I don't know whether I want to say it's the best worst book or the worst best book. And because I might be giving you a different impression either way. Sorry, I had to get some water here. I've been really liking this X-Force run. I think Benjamin Percy has been doing a lot of great work between X-Force, Wolverine, and he's doing Ghost Rider now. Hey, Blasters. Yeah, he's been doing a lot of great work. This is kind of the payoff of the most recent X-Force story where one of the Cerebros becomes sentient and he's basically trying to kill specific X-Men to absorb their powers. It's well done. It's almost reads like a horror story. A big payoff for Kid Omega. But why do I say it's the worst of the best or the best of the worst? Probably worst of the best because while it's a good story, it's very, very short. And it's like a roller coaster. Like you get all the thrills and then it's over in like 5 minutes. But again, this is kind of like a conclusion to this first arc outside of their little hiatus. I forgot why they took a hiatus, but anyway. And again, a big payoff with Kid Omega. One thing I have to say with Percy's run, he's really made Kid Omega an interesting character. He was introduced under Grant Morrison's run as kind of like a villain. They had him stick around for a little bit and kind of, I don't know, I felt like they tried to do things with him that just didn't pay off. But Percy's been putting a lot of time into him, and it finally, I think, pays off. He's a great character in this. Next, I had mentioned that there are one of two kind of flagship X-Men titles. This is one of them, X-Men Red #4, and this is the I think this is Jen Bartel. Yeah, Master. I think Madam would like this cover. It kind of reminds me of Frizen, but yeah, I guess Bartel and Frizen have similar styles, at least in my opinion. Very cool gala cover. Jean Grey descending down this staircase in this nice dress. X-Men Red, I have to tell you, has been a great read. If you remember a couple of weeks ago when I was showing off X-Men Red #3, I was shocked by the ending. It is very much the Game of Thrones of the X-Men titles, and this continues that. And as I said, you're starting to see cracks within the X-Men titles. You're starting to see the separation. And in this issue, you see Magneto and Storm, although they're on Arico as kind of unofficial representatives of Krakoa, for lack of a better word, they have ulterior motives. And this, in combination with, I guess, what we've seen of Storm in the recent Black Panther books, wow. And what I like about this well, I'll get to that in a second. The other flagship title, Immortal X-Men #4. Is it #4? Yeah, #4. This is the other flagship title. And yeah, this is Madam Loves It. Yeah, I thought it'd be a great one that she'd like. This is Emma Frost's gala attire. I think the sketch is just okay, but whatever. It is a different type of story. And again, I have my cheat sheets on the back. That's why I keep looking down. It's a very Emma Frost-centric story, which was interesting because we don't get to see this side of Emma. It's more of a vulnerable side, but not a vulnerable like you feel bad for her. Like you could kind of see maybe why she's a jerk. But they do it very, very well. I have to tell you, having not read the Hellfire Gala yet, there is a little bit of a spoiler for what happens with Emma in the Hellfire Gala. So if you are trying to read them in order, read this after that. But again, you're starting to see some of the things that are coming about, and you're also starting to see some of the things that are catching up to them. For example, I think that the regular X-Men book right now leads into this, and you're starting to see a lot of payoff with the Sinister and Dr. Stasis story. Though the way it's kind of handled is a little strange, I'll be honest with you. So that's definitely a good pickup. Now, Zach, this is what I was talking about when I was just thinking about you, because I think that you made this statement a couple weeks ago when I talked about Marauders #3. How long do you wait on a bad book before you abandon it? And I think this is proof that perhaps I've waited too long, because Marauders #4, and again, this is the Hellfire Gala variant with Cinch. This is just not good. It's more of the same kind of criticism I've had in the past. It's pretty much a wrap-up of the first arc, but half the team is not involved. And the ones that are involved are just not handled right. It sounds like they all have the same voice when they're written. So you either have somebody who sounds like somebody else, or you have a character who's very passive. I don't even think that newer character they introduced was it. I can't even think of his name. He was introduced in the Pride books. Sonam, something like that. I don't even think he's in this one. And I couldn't notice because it was a slog to read. Like I got to the point I was like, I can't read this anymore. And to be honest with you, you don't have to read this, because if you read this, it goes directly into X-Men Red. The big event in here, they tell you what happens like in one sentence in here. And in here, you don't realize how big of an event it is, but in here, you do. I know that might sound a little confusing, but if you read X-Men Red 4, just don't read this. This is terrible. You get why this is a bigger event than it is. I am going to try one more issue, though, Zach, and I'm going to tell you why, because In the very last pages, they happen to be introducing or reintroducing my one of my favorite villains from the Age of Apocalypse storyline. I think he goes by Nemesis now. He used to be Holocaust, and they quickly changed his name. And I mean, look, we're like what 25 years almost out of Age of Apocalypse, and I still have to say one of the best scenes in that was Blink and him facing off. Um, I felt like he was one of those characters when he came over from the Age of Apocalypse universe. They really didn't know what to do with, and he's popped up a little bit, but not nearly as much, and he hasn't been nearly as powerful. That being said, I mean, this book has all of the classic bad ideas in books, from confusing characters, artwork that just doesn't stick. In fact, artwork that's visually confusing. You can't tell what the action is half the time. They try to do some retcons with the origin of mutants. That's just weird, and at this point, who cares? And they even try to make like Eric the Red sound like a major part of this, and really wasn't. And at the end of the day, Eric the Red had his day and his time, but why focus on him as a major character in X-Men history? It's just not there. And like I said, I'm giving it one more issue tops. Now we have Sabretooth #5. This is the conclusion to the Sabretooth series. I know this has been out a little while, so I'm not really spoiling anything at this point, but I really like how they leave things at the end. I'm not going to tell you exactly what's going to happen, but I like kind of the idea and the direction that they're going. My only complaint is still the supporting cast. You know, Sabretooth was damned to this part of Krakoa that basically he turned into a hell. And because Sabretooth, and the way they said it, and that was very early in the House of X, Powers of X, or House of 10, Powers of 10 story, it was just irredeemable. So you have Sabretooth, and then the others who are exiled. Manny, I'll give you, if you read the first volume of Hellions, it ended in a very good way with Manny and Orphan Maker. Is it Orphan Maker? Yeah. Being kind of sucked into that hell because he goes crazy. And if you haven't read it, you should, because it's awesome. Hellions. But then the others here, you have Oyo, Melter. It's just this guy Mole. It's just like a very kind of weird assortment of people that they threw down there. Madison Jeffries. And at the end of the day, Main Event's got it right. Yeah, that's the big tagline for it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, we're throwing Sabretooth in here because he's this killer, and we're throwing all these other characters in there for jaywalking. That's what it kind of felt like. That being said, the way they end it and the way they do it, it is leading into a new series. I'm not boasting about that. I don't know that it's something I'm going to pick up, but I like how it was done. And I think that further kind of leads into what I've been saying about Krakoa, that there's a big war coming. Okay, so that was what I read. I also read, hey, Matt Woods, we were just talking about you, Matt Woods. Yep, everybody get their drink ready for Matt Woods. That's what I read. I also read the second portion to Devil's Reign. I read that online through the Marvel Unlimited app. Yeah, that was a really great story. And that's kind of how I use, by the way, the Marvel Unlimited app, is for stories I kind of wish I read if budget would allow. And it's a good way to kind of catch up. And a lot of these X titles that I've dropped over the past couple months, I'll read online at some other point. Or if I miss them, it means that they really just weren't important to me, at least to begin with. So anyway, here's what I bought that I haven't read yet, because this was all from right after the show last week. I ran to my LCS. So, AWA Upshot. I have a new Think, issue 2. I'm kind of interested in seeing where this goes, because I enjoyed the first issue, but the way it ended, I was like, oh, I guess that's the end of the story. Have you seen the OA behind you? Oh, original art? Of course I've seen it. Oh, no, have we seen it? Yes, I actually did 2 videos about it very early on in my channel. 2 pictures. One of them is an original sketch by a Joe Kubert student whose name escapes me at the moment. I bought that. I think it was like the week after we got engaged, and my one of my wife's favorite characters is Ms. Marvel. So he did a Ms. Marvel sketch for us, and the other was actually my wedding gift to my wife. One of my very good friends, Jan-Mark Quisenbean, known professionally as the Janimal. Basically, we both went to art school. He stuck with it. I didn't. And he does commissions, and he actually drew a kind of like an homage to the Superman wedding cover from the '90s, but with my wife and I. But yeah, I have that video. It is one of my early videos. I'm going to say like it's within the first 5 videos, so you get a better look of it from there. I think it's called something like the art in my house or something like that. We have some others from CP Wilson right above my TV. I don't think I've shown those off yet, but there we go. Idea for future video. Um, Other new things I picked up, and I didn't realize that this is the same book with a different cover until now. Undiscovered Country, number 19. And here's the other cover with this red, white, and blue creature. Undiscovered Country is an independent story. I shouldn't say independent. It's from Image. Scott Snyder, Charles Soule. It's been a bit of a long read, but definitely very different. Kind of very apropos for the times as well. Monstrous issue 41. This has been a great series I've been talking a lot about. And again, I think I keep saying it's ending soon. Oh, is this the last issue actually? No, it isn't. Oh, okay. They're returning in the winter. I saw a little kind of note at the end, and I thought that was the last issue, and because I thought it was ending in September, but no, apparently they're on a break until the winter. Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country number 3. Talk about creepy, Trev. Interested in seeing this one. Sandman is only like weeks away at this point, and I like the Corinthian. He's one of the first appearances I do own. I might be sending the CGC soon. Who knows? And here's one I've been waiting to come out because I haven't read the series yet. This is the end of it. And I said to myself, I'm not going to read it until it's released. And finally, the end is out. Batman and Catwoman, number 12. I've heard good and bad things. But I like Tom King's Batman. I'm that guy. And I'm just realizing this is a very cool wraparound cover. I'm going to show my wife when she comes back. So I'm interested in finally sitting down and reading the whole story. Maybe not in one shot, but maybe over the course of a couple days or so. Yeah, I don't know why Doug doesn't like Sandman. Oh, by the way, Matt, I'm going to show this on Instagram. I showed this at the very beginning of the chat. Showing it off to Matt, and I think Master will appreciate that one too. I'm sorry. I know I'm pretty much gloating at this point. But anyway, here's my Soldier Supply box to get the rest of my books. And this was basically like about oh, definitely, Trev. I actually have all of my isolations in the Soldier Supply box. In the Soldier Supply box, clear bags and boards. This is like the span of about a month and a half. So that's why it seems like it's pretty big. But that also means that I probably won't be back to the LCS for at least another month. I have She-Hulk, issue number 5. Jen Bartel. I've been liking this series. I read the 4th one already, so that'll be good. Here's another one for the Hellfire Gala. Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, number 1. Probably my least favorite of the covers so far. I just don't like how Namor's drawn in that. He kind of looks like who did this variant? Let me see. It says it. Oh, it's Bachalo. I was going to say it's kind of like if Bachalo did Dr. Oz, and sure enough, it's Chris Bachalo. And he's hit or miss with me. I do like the sharks in the back. By the way, it's Shark Week, and I could care less about sharks 51 weeks out of the year. But this week, I'm all in. I've been watching it with my little boy who's sleeping. He should have been with us, but what are you going to do? I've been hearing a lot about this, and I like the cover, so I figure I'll check this out. Aliens, or Alien Annual #1. I'm also excited, by the way, for that Predator movie. I think that comes out in a couple weeks here, maybe 1 or 2 weeks. This is a new series that looked interesting. I figured let me give it a shot, from Aftershock, Where Starships Go to Die. Here's issue 1 and issue 2. It's funny, when I was having a discussion this morning with the mysterious person, I was saying, Madam, you don't like Shark Week? What's going on?
I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Is Mrs. Philtastic a member of the Gibbon Gang? I would think ipso facto, both my wife and your wife would be members. Honey, do you consider yourself to be a member of the Gibbon Gang? Do you know what we're talking about? You have to watch more Reggie with me. That's what that means. Here's why my wife might be a little bit behind, because she does watch Reggie's recorded videos with me during the week. The live videos she typically doesn't watch, maybe on Wednesdays, but on Sundays, often we are at my in-laws' house, and I will either be listening and watching on my headphones, or if sometimes my father-in-law, not really, but sometimes my brother-in-law will watch with me in another room while my wife and her mom chat. I do have a copy of ASM. You Can't Marry Into the Gibbon Gang. I don't know. I'm no lawyer. My wife is you're a paralegal. Can you marry into the Gibbon Gang, honey?
I don't even know what it is in order to really give you an informed decision.
Well, there's this is interesting. See where this discussion came. Do you want to come on camera and talk about it? No, she's still a little nervous to do that. There's a couple basic requirements. Can't think of words. I need more coffee. Matt Woods, everybody. I forgot my gloves downstairs, Matt. You have to have a copy of Amazing Spider-Man #110, which is the first appearance of the Gibbon, who will probably be in the next Spider-Man film. I think we would all agree that. He should be in the next movie. He's a terrible, like a C-level villain.
Okay.
But he's been kind of the unofficial mascot of Reggie's channel. But here's the thing. Now, I own a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 110. It's not a great copy because our mailman sucks. Sorry for the language. And it ripped in the mail. Well, that was partly the eBay seller's fault, too.
I'm shocked.
So, because it's our collection, because we share everything, it's technically your copy, too. So, now that the ownership of it is 50-50, would that make you, in the eyes of the law, to your knowledge, a member of the Gibbon Gang?
I would think so.
I think we have to get Reggie involved in this discussion. Zach, if Zach didn't know what it was about either, but Zach, you got to get your copy of ASM 110 so you can join the Gibbon Gang, and then you could be cool like us. Speaking of cool, hell of a transition. 8 Billion Genies, #2. I've been very excited to read this, and I was very happy that my LCS remembered to put this aside for me, as well as 8 Billion Genies, issue 3. You'd like this one, honey. Remember I was telling you about it?
Never read that before.
It's a newer series that Amazon has already optioned, which that's why it's been selling like crazy. Basically, main event, you got to get one too. I would have thought you would have had 12 by now. Bring forth the Reggie Godfather to settle this. Yes, I agree. Oh, is the little guy getting up? He's he's just starting to what do you call it? Roll this week. So he's like on his side, but he also likes to get stuck in his crib. So we have the camera going constantly. 8 Billion Genies, basically, for reasons unknown at this point, 8 billion genies appear on Earth one day to 8 billion people, and say you're all allowed to make one wish. And the first issue focuses on these people in a bar, and the bartender does something very smart, I think, and says, "My wish is that no outside wishes outside this bar affect what happens to anybody in this bar."
That's interesting.
So, well, yeah. So we're 3 issues in.
That's independent?
Image, which technically it's independent, but yeah. Sadly, no, but I have point issue from ASM Hunted Run. That counts, right? I mean, that might be a technicality, man. I don't know. We got to go to Reggie with that. This next one is a book I have not collected yet, and people tell me that this particular issue is not like the series, but they have recommended this issue to me, so I'm interested in checking this out. Ice Cream Man, number 31.
That sounds like my children's book.
From what I understand, it's a horror book. Here is A Blast from the Past. Honey, I'm going to show this to you because I want to know what you think.
That was a movie.
What?
Not Blast from the Past.
Probably.
It was.
This is Profit, number 1. Profit is in, I saw it coming, not profit is in making money. So this is the artist, Stephen Platt. I remember his work well on Moon Knight. Honey, what do you think of this artwork?
I like it.
You like it?
Too busy, but I like it.
I'm surprised because she doesn't typically like, it does look like Clint Howard, or was it Howard? Clint Howard? Yeah. I was thinking of Ron Howard. That's why, Zach. I was asking my wife, I was surprised because she really likes more simple covers, and this is not a simple cover. And I'm happy to see Splat, Stephen Platt, he calls himself Splat, if you look at his signature, working again, because I loved him on Moon Knight, and then he kind of went away for a while, and then there were a couple issues of Profit, and then I don't remember seeing him in between. Okay, back to some Marvel stuff. It's New Mutants number 27, and my LCS gave me the wrong cover, honey. Sean got the wrong one.
What?
I wanted the Gala cover. This is the Pride variant.
What was the other cover?
It's your favorite character, Magic, for the Hellfire Gala. I liked. She doesn't like Magic.
I was gonna say.
Honey, why don't you tell everybody why you don't like Magic?
Because of the way she's dressed.
Okay, because I think as a character you would like her. Well, let me ask something. She wasn't dressed like that in that terrible, awful New Mutants movie. Did you like her in that?
Yeah, she wasn't bad in that.
Okay. One thing I like, and I'm kind of anxious to read this one. Not anxious, but I really want to read this one. Was they did a great mix of the old series and the current series to the point where I don't remember if this is a reprint or if they just drew it in that style. See, they open in that same older style here. I don't know why I was handling it like a pancake. And then further in, they go into the Rod Rice artwork here. And Rod Rice I've been loving as far as the artwork goes. And they make it a point in doing it very kind of storybook in scenes like for this particular story as well. Yeah, that's Rod Rice. Yeah. Rod Rice is probably one of my favorite modern day artists. And he's up there with Mike Del Mundo for me. Yeah, Magic was great in that movie, and that was a terrible movie. That was a movie that was so bad, I think I was angry after we watched it. Which really hasn't happened to me since...
No, Black Widow you were really that happy with either.
But I wasn't angry. I was just like more... Like, Black Widow was more like...
New Mutants? What is that? New
No, New Mutants I was angry. Black Widow I was more like, oh, they messed up. No, I've been angry 2 other times after leaving a bad movie. The second Matrix film.
Yeah.
3 times,
bad.
Actually.
That was bad.
3 times. The second Matrix film. Now, this is a movie my wife loves, and it's a point of contention in our house. The Daredevil film.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
You should watch. We're going to watch the series, and then you're going to come back and tell me in all honesty.
What was the other one you didn't like that I liked? Was it Green Lantern?
Yeah, I wasn't going to put you on blast like that. Yes, my wife likes Green Lantern, okay? It's something I have to live with, but I love her.
And Catwoman.
I forgot about that one. Yeah. I'm going to put you on camera if you want to talk about that.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Hear me out. My wife's favorite superhero movie No, Maine, you're wrong. I'm sorry, dude, you're wrong. Main event agrees with you. My wife's favorite superhero movie is the Holly Berry. Is that your favorite one?
I wouldn't say my favorite, but it was one of my favorite ones.
She loves the Holly Berry Catwoman movie.
I thought she did well.
I don't know why.
I thought she played the role well. No.
I don't. You know, it really wasn't even directed by a director. If you look at it, it was like by a set designer or something like that, or a VFX person.
I thought it was good.
Hellfire Gala. This is one of the variants. I thought this was a very swanky variant. It's a pretty thick. Master, you enjoyed Daredevil?
See? Thank you.
He agrees with you. Posting Mrs. Tastic, by the way.
Thank you.
What do you think of this cover? This is the Hellfire Gala.
It.
They're in dresses. And
yeah, it's very nice.
Next, I bought 2 covers for this. Defenders Beyond. And I like this. It's a very 80s cover. This is the Stormbreakers. I think this is from, I think her name is Carmen. Oh, here it is. Nacho Bustos.
Nacho.
Honey, that's racist.
You said nacho.
Nacho. Very cool cover. And I'm a big Phil Noto fan. Us Phils have to stick together, except for Murphy. So I don't want to get political on this, but Defenders Beyond, this is the Phil Noto variant. Do you recognize this character, honey?
Yeah.
From what? And there's a big hint in the background.
Can't think of her name. Yeah, I know who that is.
From what, though?
From a show that I can't remember.
Not from a show?
Huh?
That was America Chavez from the Doctor Strange film.
Mm-hmm.
Main event, I will agree with you there. I did have the Daredevil soundtrack back in the day, and it was one of my favorites. You had all of those early 2000 bands before people were like really listening to this. Like Nickelback had a song on that. Remember Nickelback, honey? Who else? Rob Zombie. By the way, we have to watch the Rob Zombie trailer. You know, he's doing the Munsters film.
I don't know what that is.
You know Rob Zombie?
No.
We have much to discuss. You would hate him.
Totally.
You know this song Dragula? You couldn't. It was like one of those songs you couldn't escape for.
Maybe if I heard it, I'll recognize it.
Yeah, he's a hard rock singer. You know, White Zombie. White Zombie.
No.
Okay. You guarantee you've heard one of their songs.
Probably.
It's been in a bunch of different movies. This is another Phil Noto greatness. The variants #1. And these are all variants of, well, here, let me ask, honey.
Oh, boy.
It's all the same person, but you'll know it from...
Jessica Jones.
Yep, Jessica Jones. The Crow and Last Action Hero.
I didn't like that show.
I liked it.
I thought it was very slow.
Master, I agree with you 100% on The Crow. Last Action Hero, I was a little too young when it came out. I even think that, and by the way, the third film I got angry at, I remember I was so angry I almost wanted to write a letter.
Justice League.
No, you didn't see this. The second Crow film was so bad I got so angry. You didn't see the first one. The first one is great. And then it just...
depressing.
Third one wasn't bad. Third one wasn't bad.
It's too depressing.
But yeah, the second Crow soundtrack and the third one, Master, if you haven't heard, great soundtracks. The first Crow soundtrack, that was one of my favorites. STP, of course. That was their big breakout, remember, with Big Empty?
So you're being biased because STP?
Because it's a great soundtrack. I'm sorry, the caffeine's taken over. Matt Woods, everybody. The only thing I know about the Last Action Hero soundtrack was the Guns N' Roses song. And I remember hearing Axl Rose in an interview saying that basically they did it because Arnold approached him like, this movie needs Guns N' Roses. I can't do an Arnold voice. You get it. Was it bad? This is another one. I have this comic, but I didn't see this cover before. Last Action Hero.
I think you should drink coffee like this every day.
10 Deaths of Wolverine. This looks like Chris Bachalo. And Bachalo's hit or miss with me. I loved his work in Generation X. I thought in Spider-Man he got a little murky. I didn't like that Namor cover I showed you, but that cover with Wolverine getting eaten by, it looks like Venom. It works for me. And I don't even remember Venom in that story, and that wasn't very long ago. She-Hulk #4. This is the regular cover. I showed off the Dodderman variant.
I'm excited about that series.
You only read the first issue, and you were kind of iffy
No, I'm talking about the TV series.
Oh, the TV series?
Yeah.
This is issue 4. Now, you read the first issue of this volume.
Yeah.
And you were kind of iffy on it.
No, I liked it.
You did like it? Did you pick up Metal Society Main Event? I didn't yet, and I'll tell you why. My LCS had all of the issues except for the first one, so he ordered it for me, so that'll maybe be in the next haul. And then finally, this is the last of the pickups. Iron Man #21, and this is the Hellfire Gala variant. Yeah, it is a great cover, too. And this is this Jen Bartel as well?
I would have never guessed it was Iron Man.
Well, with the point of the Hellfire Gala, yeah, it's another Jen Bartel cover. I didn't know that we had so many Bartel covers today. No, with this one, I don't know who the cover artist is, actually. It says it's Alex Ross. It doesn't look like Alex Ross. I don't believe it. No, Alex Ross did the regular cover. Here you go. Angel Uzudu. I don't know him. Ivan Kolio. That's familiar. And Jesus Arburatov. But this is Arburatov, apparently. So the whole point of the Hellfire Gala, they're in like their formal attire. So this was Tony Stark's idea, is like a laser light jacket, I guess. I haven't read it yet. Madam is not a She-Hulk fan. Sorry, no green cosplay. I think, Master, I think you got to introduce Madam to some Dan Slott era She-Hulk. My wife liked Charles Soule's run, though I didn't care for that one. It was a little too short, and the artwork was a little iffy for me. That was the one where she broke the desk we were talking about during the week.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this. I didn't mean to go this way. Yeah, Trevor's right. It's like the Met Gala. Master, I'm going to be honest with you. And I mean no disrespect. Cosplay scares the crap out of me. You guys do it well. You guys do it great. But we had a weird experience. I know that I'm over an hour at this point. I didn't expect it to go this far. And I didn't expect to tell the story.
It's the coffee.
Yes, it is the coffee. I was going to drink it, but it's empty. So to water. Matt Woods. We were at Garden State Comic Fest. This is...
Oh my gosh.
Was this after this is when we were engaged,
yeah,
actually.
That was a long time ago.
2016. And that was my wife's first con. That's the only con she's been to is Garden State Comic Fest.
We weren't even engaged yet.
No, we were engaged. And I know this because it was, my wife and I used to be involved in the Elks. And the first week in June was the Elks convention, and then Garden State is in July.
Oh, that time. Okay.
Yeah.
Mind.
And I remember because we went to Steranko's signing. Steranko was signing, and he was talking to us for 15 minutes about marriage.
Oh, yeah.
And I just kept thinking, and I didn't know this. I didn't know that he's a big talker. I apologized profusely to the people behind us, and then at the Bratton's comic book garage sale this past May, was it May or April at this point? Dave O'Hare, who runs Garden State Comic Fest, happened to be there, and I said to him, he's like, "Don't feel bad. Steranko talks to everybody for 15 to 20 minutes." But it was a great conversation. Him and Lee Weeks, I felt like it was really warm too.
Yeah.
But anyway, as we're walking around, there was a guy who was dressed. I mean, his costume was pinpoint accurate as Green Goblin, and came up and he did the whole, whatever. And I'm like, "Oh, that's great. We'll see you later." Walking around. And like 5 other times during the convention, he just like popped up behind us like he was stalking us. And like to the point where like you turn around and he's right there, like we jumped back. And then the very last time he said something like, and I know that there wasn't anything to be afraid of. It was just a weird kind of thing to say. He said something like, "Oh, I can't wait to take you guys to a bridge so I can throw her over." And I kind of turned around and was like, "All right, dude, listen. I know you're playing around. I appreciate what you're doing. but it's freaking us out a little bit. So it's kind of given at least me an aversion to cosplaying. And then the other part of it, at Garden State Comic Fest, there seemed to be a lot that particular year. It seemed to be, and this kind of goes into my wife's dislike for magic. It seemed to be a lot of very kind of, how would you put it? Revealing attire, to which I was like, because my wife's answer is, well, why are they dressing like that? And it's like, well, I don't know, but they're allowed to.
What was that guy that was like tall? That was cool.
Yeah, no, that was from some video game I didn't play. Tell me if you guys know this. I think everybody's seen the cosplay of the guy who does the Iron Man Hulkbuster armor. The following year, he came as like this giant knight from some game. I don't even know, but it was an impressive costume regardless.
Yeah, it was really cool.
But anyway, that's why we kind of don't care for cosplay. I will say this, madam, your stuff is very tastefully done, very good. I don't mind your cosplay at all. You don't mind it either, correct? No. Right. You do it the right way. Some people take it a little too far, and that was an issue where it was like, and the guy was very apologetic afterwards, and he didn't pop up again, unless he was in another costume and we didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Warhammer, yes. I've never played Warhammer, so I'm going to just agree with you, Trev. But anyway, I've talked enough about comics today.
The coffee.
It is the coffee. I think we should do 2 coffees every time I stream.
Yeah, I think that's your best when you are drinking 2 coffees.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a little after noon here on the East Coast. Our little guy sounds like he's waking up. I don't know if you could hear in the background. He kind of sounds like a dinosaur. Yeah. We're going to enjoy this day. And by enjoy, I mean I'm going to do some yard work and then some actual work. And that's all I have for you today. But I appreciate you guys checking this out, whether you're catching me live or recorded. And I'm thinking about bringing some giveaways in soon. Thinking about it because I want to figure out logistics as far as shipping and whatnot goes. So stay tuned for that. And I will leave you like I always do. Peace, love, and comics. Take care, everybody.